Welcome back to the channel. Join me in this lesson and it will improve your interview skills and help to influence your prospects for future employment. Today, we will explore how to effectively answer the most difficult interview question you may be asked. What is your greatest weakness? The bonus is that you only need to invest 10 minutes of your time to answer this question, and it will give an interviewer exactly what they are looking for. First, let's understand why this question is asked and what the interviewer is looking for in your answer. There is a purpose behind the question. Interviewers are trying to assess some of your qualities. Firstly, are you self-aware? In other words, can you recognize your own areas for improvement and show emotional intelligence and the ability to self-criticize? Nobody is perfect and everyone has areas they can improve on. So think about your weaknesses before we go into some interview scenarios. The interviewer will also be measuring your honesty and integrity and will assess if you are authentic in identifying a legitimate weakness. Whatever you do, don't give a canned or evasive answer like, "I work too hard," or "I'm too much of a perfectionist." These answers will come across as insincere and perhaps over-rehearsed. Even worse than that is showing that you have not considered the question at all, with answers like, "I'm not sure what to say, I think I'm pretty well-rounded," or "I guess I could improve in some areas, but nothing specific comes to mind." This will show an interviewer that you have not given any thought to the question. On the subject of evasive answers, never give an answer that bears no relation to your employment. Saying that your greatest weakness is chocolate or you can't resist a stuffed crust pizza is likely to shorten the interview. The interviewer will also evaluate your growth mindset to see what you are actively working on or learning so you can address your weakness. Employers value candidates who demonstrate initiative and a commitment to self-improvement. Choose your weaknesses carefully and understand what is essential for the role. If the role you are being interviewed for requires excellent public speaking skills, don't give an incompatible answer saying you are uncomfortable speaking in front of a crowd despite trying to address this issue. That would be self-damaging and will not win you any points. If this was indeed the case, then maybe you should be applying for a different role. I have interviewed hundreds of candidates in my career, so let's examine the positive qualities I look for. The weakness should be real, but not critical to the role. For instance, if applying for a test analyst role, avoid saying you're bad at details since precision is essential in testing. I would expect you to provide an example of how the weakness manifests in your work. This demonstrates to me that you are self-aware and happy to be accountable. You will need to show that you are actively addressing the weakness. This highlights your commitment to growth and improvement. It's important to mention the steps you're taking, such as training or developing habits to mitigate the issue. You could frame a positive answer by using the STAR method. I will explain how it works. First, there's situation. Identify a real weakness. Explain the context, be honest, and don't try to invent something for the interview. It will come across as insincere. Make sure it is not detrimental to you, so have a few answers planned out. For example, you could mention that you were over-reliant on perfectionism, but you are balancing it with practicality now. Another common weakness was a fear of public speaking, but you are working on it through presentations or workshops, and it's vastly improved. Next is the task. Describe why this weakness presented a challenge in a professional setting and how it has affected your work or interactions. This demonstrates self-awareness and self-analysis. Then there's the action you take to address the weakness. This is an opportunity for you to highlight the steps you've taken to improve upon it. Talk about specific actions you've taken or are currently taking to address the weakness, and relate this back to your role by showing how you worked to address it. End on a really positive note by explaining the result. This will showcase how your efforts have led to growth or improvement. You need to explain how this weakness has made you a better professional and how it helped you to make a greater contribution to your organization. We are halfway through this lesson, so stay with me as you learn how to answer this difficult question with some useful role-play answers. You can then impress at your next interview. We'll look at a Zoom or Teams interview, but it could just as easily be in an office. First, let's see how not to answer the question.
Let's move on in this interview now, Amanda. You have shown me that you have a lot of the technical skill we are looking for, but in your opinion, what is your greatest weakness?
My current manager doesn't think that I have any weaknesses. I guess I may have some, but nothing specific comes to mind. I just concentrate on the strengths.
Oh dear, no demonstration of self-awareness or any desire to improve. Let's give Amanda another chance and see if she does better this time around.
Amanda, you have shown me that you have a lot of the technical skills we are looking for, but in your opinion, what is your greatest weakness?
At the last annual review with my manager, I spoke to her about my tendency to spend too much time ensuring every detail is perfect on my test scripts, which can slow down my work rate. At the time, I was overthinking how I could complete my work. I understand the importance of balancing perfection with efficiency. So I've started using prioritization techniques like focusing on critical test cases first and regularly checking in with the team and my test manager for feedback. This has helped to improve my workload without sacrificing quality, which is important for me.
That's a much better response demonstrating self-awareness, honesty, and a proactive attitude toward improvement, all of which are highly valued by interviewers. We'll look at one more example now with a different interviewee, but it's the same question.
Ali, you obviously have the technical skills that we are looking for. Are there any areas where you have a weakness?
I want to be honest and say that I initially struggled to switch from an established work practice to a newer methodology, and I was a little resistant to the change, especially when I believed the existing process was very effective. About 9 months ago, the project I currently work on migrated from a waterfall type approach to using the agile methodology. Initially, it was a bit of a struggle, and I found it difficult to track and complete my work using the new work process. Despite this, I stayed open to the change by attending every available workshop. I also discussed agile frameworks in great depth with the Scrum Master and colleagues so I could try to understand its benefits. I am pretty sure that diving in and finding out how to work agile as it should be used helped me to overcome my initial resistance, and I can now see it helps to deliver benefits to the business much quicker than we used to. It turned out I was not the only person who found it difficult, and some other team members were more resistant. But I am a convert now, and I use my newfound skills to help my colleagues. I think that next time a project switches processes, I will be more open-minded.
Thank you, Ali.
Every one of us has different strengths and weaknesses. That's why teamwork is essential and works so well. Before we finish, here are a few tips on how to overcome weaknesses. Even test managers might struggle with delegation and can improve that weakness by identifying their team's strengths, so they can produce meaningful, structured guidelines and support their team members through regular check-ins. This also prevents them from practicing micromanagement, which usually leads to bad morale and low productivity. Difficulty saying no can lead to overcommitting. Set clearer boundaries and prioritize tasks based on urgency and impact. Transparency with your team about your capacity helps you to manage your workload effectively. For technical weaknesses like script efficiency, attend coding workshops and collaborate with experienced colleagues. Balance efficiency with quality to meet project needs while delivering high-quality work. If your weakness is that you are reluctant to ask for help and it slows down your work rate, be brave and embrace collaboration by seeking input from team members. They are usually pleased that you have asked for their help. This approach leads to faster resolutions, enhances morale, and bonds the team together. Thank you for watching. Remember, addressing your weaknesses shows growth and commitment. Use these strategies to confidently answer the greatest weakness question and demonstrate your dedication to professional development. You can now think about how you will answer this question and go into an interview with confidence. If you choose to ignore this advice and wing it, then you are handing the role over to another more worthy candidate. For those of you who are now preparing your answer, it's important to practice this out loud. Ask a colleague or family member to practice your answer, or just use a mirror. You'll be surprised how well it works. I wish you all the best. You are now ready. For more testing insights, use the link below this video. There's lots of useful lessons there, and please subscribe to the channel. It helps us to create more free content. If you found this video useful, please hit the like button for me before you go. Keep testing and improving.